Hi there, my name's John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text, we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for the 25th Sunday after Pentecost, and we're looking at the Psalm 146. Now I have a link on the blog page, the Dollar Store Children's Sermons website, where you can find something about the gospel lesson, which I did 3 years ago. But this is for the psalm, and I am looking at God taking care of the vulnerable, God taking care of those who are on the outside, as well as God taking care of those who are on the inside, that God cares for the entire world, as the psalmist lifts up the outcast, lifts up the hungry, lifts up the poor, lifts up those we might forget. And that God reminds us to reach out and to care for all, especially those who don't have the resources and things to care for themselves, or of what they need and the things that we take for granted. So I am looking at the two items I'm looking at from the Dollar Tree. One is a food item. If you have, we have a Hope food barrel, which is helping other people eat, and there's a food pantry in our area that we collect food for. The first Sunday of the month we have a food basket, and I'm going to pull that out, and we're going to talk about why do we collect food. Why on the first Sunday of the month, which was last Sunday, but why do we collect this food? It's so that we can help those. We can help those who need that help: the poor, the hungry, the widow, the orphan, the outcast. That's one way that we can help reach out and talk about that. That's God's call to us, is to do that. So that's the direction I'm going. The other thought I had was to take some painter's tape or some masking tape and make a circle, or you could even just use a rope string to make a circle, and you've got the circle there, and you can have some kids on the inside and some kids on the outside. You just draw maybe a small circle so that it's automatically that there's some kids that are in and some kids that are out. You could put it on the ground, you don't even have to draw attention to it, but you just ask the kids to, you're standing near it, and have the kids come over and they're there, and talk about. So notice that there are people inside the circle and outside of the circle. Who does God love? And of course, it's everyone, those who are inside and those who are outside. And sometimes we think I talk about, there's times that I talk about that God expands the circle, that God expands those who belong inside the circle. And the more I think about it, the more I think about there is the cartoonist David Hayward, who also goes by The Naked Pastor as his Twitter handle, and he has a wonderful one where all these people are drawing lines and Jesus is there erasing it. And I love this idea that it's like God does more than just expand the circle. God comes and God removes the circle. And so possibly having that circle with masking tape, and people are gathered there, and then who does God love? Those who are inside of the circle, those who are outside, and then talk about how God in God's love and God's mercy, God's always, and the psalmist kind of points that out, that we're called to care for everyone, and that means, and you remove the circle, that God loves the entire world. So it's one direction. First of all, calling out the fact that in our world there are people that are inside and out. That's how we think, but that God calls for us to be brought together. So I hope those can be a springboard for your own thinking, and always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have one fantastic week.